The Montreal Canadiens are shaking things up, and no one's safe from the trade block. GM Kent Hughes is turning the team upside down, looking to reshape the Habs' future from top to bottom. But here's where it gets interesting. The players on the trading block might surprise you. Jake Evans and David Savard, once thought to be key pieces of the team's core, are now at the center of trade talks. Who will stay in Montreal and who's headed for new shores? The roster shuffle is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher for the Canadiens. The Canadiens' roster shakeup is sending shockwaves through the NHL. Jake Evans and David Savard, once considered key pieces of Montreal's future, are now at the center of trade discussions. What's driving this unexpected move? Let's break it down. The Canadiens are currently sitting near the bottom of the Atlantic Division, their playoff hopes all but extinguished. This disappointing season has forced GM Kent Hughes to take a hard look at the team's future, and it seems he's ready to make some bold moves. Evans, the 26-year-old center, has shown flashes of potential, but hasn't quite lived up to expectations this season with just 15 points in 50 games. However, his cap-friendly $1.7 million contract through 2025 makes him an attractive trade target for teams looking to bolster their bottom six. Savard brings a wealth of experience, including a Stanley Cup ring. The 32-year-old defenseman's steady presence on the blue line could be just what a contender needs to push them over the top. However, his $3.5 million cap, hit through 2025, might be more than the Canadiens are willing to carry for a rebuilding team. What could Montreal get in return? For Evans, the Canadiens might be looking at a mid-round draft pick or a promising prospect. Savard could potentially fetch a higher return, maybe a second-round pick or a young player with top 4 potential. Which teams might be in the mix? The Edmonton Oilers, desperately seeking defensive help, could be a prime landing spot for Savard. The New York Rangers, looking to shore up their bottom six, might have their eyes on Evans. And don't count out dark horse candidates like the Los Angeles Kings or the Minnesota Wild, both of whom could use depth additions for a playoff push. The impact of these potential trades extends beyond just the Canadiens and their trade partners. If Montreal starts moving pieces, it could set off a chain reaction across the league. Other teams on the bubble might feel pressure to make moves of their own, either to keep pace or to start their own rebuilds. As the trade deadline approaches, all eyes are on Montreal. Will they pull the trigger on these deals? The answers could determine the fate of not just the Canadiens, but teams across the league. The clock is ticking and the pressure is mounting. Who will make the first move? The New York Rangers are making waves in the trade rumor mill, and it's turning heads across the league. A playoff contender considering dismantling its core? It's a bold strategy that could redefine their season. Kreider and Jacob Trouba, 2 key players for the Rangers, are at the center of these trade discussions, with the team sitting just 4 points out of the 3rd spot in the Metropolitan Division. This potential shakeup is raising eyebrows, but there's a method to this apparent madness. GM Chris Drury is looking to strike a balance between present success and future potential. Kreider's offensive firepower and Trouba's defensive prowess come with hefty price tags, and with the team's performance falling short of expectations, Drury is exploring all avenues to ignite a spark. The contract situations add another layer to this trade puzzle. Trouba has 1 year left after this season, while Kreider has 2. Both players have 15-team no-trade clauses, which could influence potential deals. But here's the kicker. The Rangers aren't just looking to shed salary. They're after a top 6 forward in return, aiming to reshape their offensive lineup. Who might be in the market for these Rangers stars? Teams with cap space and a need for experienced talent are likely already showing interest. Kreider's scoring touch or Trouba's defensive skills could be game changers for teams looking to bolster their roster. This potential roster overhaul isn't just about player movements. It's a clear message from Drury that the status quo isn't enough. By putting these valuable assets on the table, he's challenging the entire organization to step up their game. As the Eastern Conference playoff race intensifies, the Rangers' decisions could trigger a domino effect across the league. Other teams might feel the pressure to make their own moves, either to keep up or to capitalize on the changing landscape. The trade deadline is approaching, and all eyes are on Broadway. Will the Rangers make a move that could redefine their season? The next chapter in this high-stakes story is about to unfold, and it promises to shake up the NHL in a big way. The trade winds are swirling for the Edmonton Oilers, and it's all about saving their season. With Connor McDavid in his prime, the pressure is on to make a move that could turn their fortunes around. The Oilers' defensive struggles have left them on the bubble of playoff contention, a precarious position for a team with championship aspirations. So, who's on the Oilers' radar? 3 names stand out: Rasmus Ristolainen, Ben Chiaro, and Nick Jensen. Ristolainen brings physicality and big minutes. Chiaro offers defensive reliability. Jensen could provide the puck-moving skills to complement the Oilers' high-powered offense. But here's the catch. The Oilers aren't just looking for a quick fix. They want a defenseman with term on their contract, someone who can contribute beyond this season. It's a smart move, but it comes with challenges. The Oilers' cap situation is tight, forcing them to get creative with their trade assets. What can they offer in return? Likely some combination of prospects and draft picks, but they'll need to be careful not to sacrifice too much of their future. It's a delicate balancing act between immediate improvement and long-term success. As the trade deadline approaches, the pressure mounts. Will the Oilers make a move in time, or will they risk wasting another year of McDavid's prime? The implications of their decision will be felt far beyond Edmonton. Whatever move the Oilers make, it's sure to have ripple effects across the league. Other teams will be forced to respond either by making their own trades or adjusting their strategies. The NHL landscape is poised for change, and it all starts with Edmonton's quest for defensive help. Who will make the next move in this high-stakes game of hockey chess? The potential Oilers trade is just the beginning. One move could trigger a chain reaction that reshapes the entire NHL playoff landscape. In the league, trades create ripples that spread far and wide, forcing every GM to recalibrate their strategy. Players previously off-limits suddenly become available, and teams find themselves scrambling to keep pace. The recent Jake Guentzel trade to the Hurricanes sparked a flurry of activity across the NHL. Now, with rumors swirling around other high-profile players and potential team fire sales, we're on the brink of another major shift. These moves could dramatically alter the balance of power, turning bubble teams into contenders and leaving frontrunners struggling to keep up. Where might these players end up? Imagine a top scorer joining forces with Connor McDavid in Edmonton, or a star defenseman bolstering the blue line in Los Angeles. Such moves would likely prompt swift responses from rivals like the Golden Knights and Canucks. The impact extends beyond this season, potentially shaping the league for years to come. All eyes are on teams like the Rangers and Oilers, both in win-now mode with the talent and motivation to make big moves. But don't overlook dark horses like the Devils, who are under pressure to address key weaknesses and secure their playoff spot. As for predictions, the most impactful trade might come from an unexpected source. A contender acquiring multiple depth players in a single deal could be the difference between an early exit and a deep playoff run. As the trade deadline approaches, tension is building. GMs are working the phones, players are on edge, and fans are holding their breath. One thing's certain, by the time the dust settles, the NHL landscape will look very different. Which team will emerge as the biggest winner in this high-stakes game of hockey chess? The next few weeks will reveal all. As the trade deadline approaches, the NHL is buzzing with activity. Teams are making bold moves, looking to strengthen their rosters and position themselves for success. The stakes are high, with playoff hopes and championship dreams on the line. This trade season could have far-reaching impacts across the league. We've seen rumors of potential blockbuster deals that could shift the balance of power. Some teams are going all in for a shot at the Stanley Cup, while others are planning for the future. The final days before the deadline promise to be intense. Every general manager is looking for that perfect move to give their team an edge. As the clock ticks down, we'll soon see which teams emerge as the winners and losers of this frenzied period. The landscape of the NHL could look very different when the dust settles, setting the stage for an exciting conclusion to the season.